My question would be that when this General Malik, whom you think that you would not even like to call him a general because you think that he was a fraudulent person and he was he was a crook. But did you ever think for a moment that he was telling you that if you keep a cut for him, he would get both the agreements signed and enforced, and furthermore, they would also like to get your help in the cases which are still in arbitration in ICSID?
Well, that was the offer, and I broke off the conversation immediately. As soon as he talked about a cut for he and his group, I said, thank you, no thank you, I'm not interested, and I called the waiter.
He and his group, he was not alone when you met him? He had some other people with him?
He was alone, completely alone.
He was alone. But he said that he was there in London with a delegation.
Yes. That's why I was persuaded to see him. He rang me on an unknown number and said, good morning. I'm pretty sure it was before lunch.
You are in the business of investigating people. So did you try to investigate, who were the other people with him, accompanying him in the delegation? Because what I gather is, you would want to know each and everything about the person you are meeting, but you won't go on the face of it.
Well, that was part of the investigation, to see him and see what he has to offer on his credentials. And his credentials were, did he have a letter? Did he have any indication as part of it? Instead, he produced official government documents, correspondence between my lawyers and themselves, NAB documents from inside. That was pretty compelling. He's here. It's no coincidence. He's here when the delegation is here, and he's giving me inside government documents from only an insider could have. So I thought, well, that's delegation enough. That's evidence enough. Let's have a conversation. And we did. And the conversation was going swimmingly well until I was shocked when I heard that he wants a bribe. I said, thank you, no. And I called it. I said, Mr. Malik, General Malik, as he called himself. And again, I record here for the fact that I'm making no accusations against the
Pakistan Army. I understand that. Now, finally, my question would be that since you have said that, the lot of crooks were there, and in the last 20 years, you came across many crooks who were dealing with you regarding all the recovery of assets which were looted by these big people like the former prime ministers and all that. So my question would be that if now the government tries to approach you and ask you for help, do you have something up your sleeve to offer them?
Not up my sleeve. I have something else better than up my sleeve. I have proven ability to investigate corruption. Proven. I have a proven ability to fight criminal regimes. I've just arrested one of the agents of the Iranian government in Sweden on the 9th of November. Google it, you'll find it was me. It was me who arrested him. That takes serious intelligence capability to be able to find and identify war criminals who travel under their false name, false identity. Those services are available to if I can find criminals who are going around hustling people in Sweden, I can find Pakistani stolen money. I've got nothing up my sleeve. Everything's
Kavi Mastvi, excuse me for a little while, but I just want to know, for what you have just told me, I am convinced, I may be wrong, I am convinced that you have this information. I may be wrong, that why this $1 billion was taken out from Saudi Arabia on the order of Mian Nawaz Sharif, and probably from one of Mian Nawaz Sharif's account or someone else's account or something like that. But you are privy to some information. So I may be wrong, but since you have just told me about your credentials, you won't just leave this transaction that it just moved out of Saudi Arabia and went to some bank. You would be knowing where actually it landed.
I am not privy to any information that I've not let you have already. Or better still, I've not let the government of Pakistan have already several years ago. What I am claiming is I have the capacity to trace that money. That much money isn't $5,000 you put in your back pocket and move out of the country and spend it. $1 billion leaves a trail. And, I know I can find it because you use electronic transfer. Where does it go? You can trace that money. There are laws that enable you to do that. What I'm offering isn't up my sleeve. It's there right in front of me. It's called my proven capacity to find assets, and that was on offer. I'm sorry the government of Pakistan showed no interest whatsoever in it. And this foolish man who came to see me, Shahzad Akbar, all is interested in trying to reduce the price of a carpet. So that's not the quality of person I like to talk to. You know, Imran, I hope, is made of different material, and and I'm happy to make my services available to the government of Pakistan, as long as the interface isn't this foolish man who goes around and tries to shave a finding of a court. I said to him, "You're trying to save $2 million, but imagine what it would do to the reputation of Pakistan if it became known as a government that immediately obeys court orders. Do you see what that would do to the reputation in the financial markets? They'd say, this is a credible, honest government that if we lend money to..."
Mr. Mاسوی, there is a question, there are so many questions going on in Pakistan, especially after this 13-page, letter. And furthermore, the question is that why the money was parked there in the British embassy, there are apprehensions that they already knew, and that is why they are casting, some impressions on your credibility as well, that there was some deal going on behind, before this court order, behind the curtains, and that is why that money was already parked there. So do you have any information of that?
Okay. My job is to find money, and if I have a court order and I wait a year and a half for the government of Pakistan to pay me, and they don't, then I start using those skills to find the money. And I did find the money, and I froze it. That's what I did. No deal.
Okay.
If there'd been a deal.
So since you have actually, got the award in your favor by the court, but since I have gathered that you have given your credibility, you have told about your cases, and you must be very, you have got a vast experience in investigation. I'm not saying any information, but again I'm coming back to what does your intuition tells you why that $1 billion was transferred from Saudi Arab to Southeast Asian country?
Well, would you prefer to keep $1 billion in Saudi or in Singapore? I know where I like to keep it.
I don't know, because $1 billion is just a dream. I can't even think of that. But my question would be your wildest intuition, what would be? Because immediately after that, we saw that former Prime Minister Mian Nawaz Sharif left the country, and he's not coming back. And at that point, we were being told that he's about to, God forbid, die. And now we came to know that this $1 billion was moved, because there were some rumors when this present government came into power that former Prime Minister Mian Nawaz Sharif is willing to pay some money under the table from a third party. And now this $1 billion, we can't find the trace, because it didn't land in Pakistan balance sheet. We can't see that in Pakistani accounts.
As it says in the Holy Book, Allah alamul haqa'i'ul umur. The Almighty knows the reality, the truth of everything.
I mean, Másوی, I don't know, but I think you are privy to some information, and that is why now the government might be interested to reach you again. So there must be something. Come on, you can share a bit. Was that $1 billion a part of deal?
This much I can tell you categorically. If there was $1 billion of fraudulent money, it wouldn't be there 4 years later. It would have gone. And it is the responsibility of the government of Pakistan that is squarely on their shoulders for having done nothing about that $1 billion. Nothing. Why didn't they do it? I think you've raised some very good questions. If I was in your shoes, I'd be asking exactly the same questions. Did somebody cut a deal? Did money change hands for Mr. Nawaz Sharif to end up in London? These are good questions to be asked. If they hire me, I sure will find the answers. That's for sure.
Okay. So now if you can just repeat once more categorically, when you told all this affair to Mr. Barrister Shahzad Akbar, what was his response? Again, just for on the record.
Shahzad Akbar wasn't interested. He showed no interest whatsoever in $1 billion. The foolish man was interested in reducing the award by $2 million. He wasn't interested in the billion. He wasn't interested in this fake general Malik. Wasn't interested. He just simply said, reduce your award and I give you the money straight away. I said, that really sounds like a law-abiding government, doesn't it? Any pretension that your government obeys court orders is just sham. I sent him a text immediately, and I can forward that to you. It was there. I said, so he wasn't interested. It's a good question why he wasn't interested.
Yeah, that's a good question why he was interested, and that is why, so many questions are being raised. There are concerns that whether that $1 billion was part of the deal. That's why former Prime Minister Mian Nawaz Sharif left the country. Thank you very much, Mr. Kavi Maswi, for your time. And please.
I will say finally, if I'm asked to find it, I will find it. And I will find out, and I will find the answer to the question, why is Sharif in London and not what's sitting in jail in thing. If money changed hands, I will find it.